Father's Day at the ballpark in Toronto, and a big crowd expected as Brett Cecil makes his debut on the season against these Philadelphia Phillies. 2 straight wins for the Blue Jays. And now for the Phillies, Jimmy Rollins leads it off. Placido Polanco, Hunter Pence there at the top. Jim Thome, Shane Victorino, and Carlos Ruiz back in there as the catcher. Not expected to play today. Hector Luna gets a start at first base. John Mayberry Jr. slammed a home run yesterday, and Michael Martinez is at second.
Brett Cecil back in the big leagues. There are his numbers in the minor leagues this year. 4-2 at a 347 earned run average for Cecil. 9 AA starts and 1 AAA start.
So a lot of talk about Brett Cecil and the things he's worked to improve. Last year it was all about velocity. This year about, well, on his part, losing some weight, trying to get in better shape, and now trying to pitch down in the zone. His first pitch is a strike, but it was up in the zone.
Saw him just a little bit right at the end of spring training.
Up in the zone again, Tabby, as he gets the ground out.
Take a look at the scouting report for Brett Cecil, brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. He basically has the 4-pitch mix. The fastball, slider, curveball, and the changeup. Last year he used it about 45%. With the fastball, that is down this year to 21%. He's going to have to get all those pitches over and get them down. He's been talking about he knows how to pitch now, and he knows how to read bats just a little bit better and pitch to the batter's weaknesses.
Everybody will be watching closely on Brett Cecil. Number one, they're going to look at that velocity, 89 right here. And that's kind of right back in the zone where we've probably seen him most of the time.
When he first came up, it was 93, 94 miles an hour. And then we saw the dramatic drop in velocity last year. Well, Brett says now, I don't care about it. It doesn't matter. As long as I execute my pitches and throw the ball down and keep it off the middle of the plate, I'm going to be fine. And I agree with him. If he goes ahead and does his thing, and that is move the ball around, he's got to stay out of the middle and keep it down, he'll be fine.
Now there's one down, and that's really the first one to this point he's gotten down around the knees. Other than that, even though he got the ground ball out with Jimmy Rollins, a couple of pitches up in the strike zone. John Farrell will be watching closely, Bruce Walton as well, and the entire staff of the Blue Jays.
Then saw him right at the end of spring training before he got sent down to AA, and now getting our first look at him this season. He looks like a different type of pitcher than the one we saw last year.
There's the curveball, and you know, I have a comment after watching Cliff Lee pitch again yesterday, and I get so impressed with a guy that is not overpowering but has a great ability to attack the strike zone in various ways. And I think Cliff Lee would be an ideal guy for Brett Cecil to watch video of and maybe learn that pitching art.
Yeah, how to throw the ball where you want to. He's got great pitchability. That's that catchphrase that we're hearing a lot of now. Do you have pitchability? Throw the ball where you need to.
High strike as he gets the strikeout. Polanco looking, second out of the inning. But again, I have this tendency of hearing baseball talk, and a lot of talk will be, well, I've learned to pitch and I'm getting the ball down. And to this point, generally, it's been up.
This one right about belt high, but inside showed all 4 of his pitches that time to Polanco. And that's a guy who doesn't strike out a lot. Just 1 every 11 at bats.
And again, up to start Hunter Pence. And the only reason that I bring up the up portion is watching him last year with the struggles. It was up, up, up for Brett, and I think that's a key issue.
Well, he just couldn't get the ball down last year. That was his big problem. Made 20 starts for the Blue Jays last year. Had 2 complete games, 4-11 with an ERA of 4.7.
Well, let's make a comparison on the numbers the last couple of seasons for Brett, and it's easy to see that 15-game winning season. Last year falls off to the 4 wins. ERA not all that different.
Big number, the whip at 1.3, and when you can't get the ball down, you know, things are going to happen. And they're not good.
Well, we've looked at 11 Brett Cecil pitches to this point, and by my count, one has been down around the knees. Now, if you're successful, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we'll watch how this game unfolds, and we'll see how it goes along for him. We were talking the other day that there are some people who can pitch up and be successful.
And there are. But if the talk goes that now I'm getting the ball down and you don't see any of that on the big league level,
yeah, we'll
that's
see.
A different story.
We'll see here. He's got to be able to execute.
Yeah, I'd love to be able to see the evidence of the talk. Of course, the Blue Jays, Tabby, need starting pitching right now, and it's a golden opportunity for Brett personally.
Great opportunity. You go out there and you throw some shutout innings together, maybe get into the 7th or 8th inning, and you're going to stay.
There's a changeup in the dirt to get the strikeout. They'll record it at first base in a 1-2-3 first inning for Brett Cecil as he tries to reinstall himself in this rotation of the Blue Jays. He's trying to win 3 straight now after getting swept by the Washington Nationals. That lineup for the Blue Jays, Brett Lawrie and Colby Rasmus at the top. They have been tearing it up. Brett Lawrie certainly of late. Jose Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion right there in the heart. Kelly Johnson's at second. Yunel Escobar at short. Yan Gomes gets the start at first base. Rajay Davis, yesterday's hero, in left. And Jeff Mathis with the start behind the plate.
Kyle Kendrick has made 5 relief appearances this year, and this will be his 10th start of the year as he takes over for Roy Halladay, who is on the disabled list. As a starter, 2-5 with an ERA of about 4.6. He also, because he can't just blow the ball by, he's got to be able to make pitches to survive last outing against Minnesota.
And Brett Cecil trying to get things started in a big way. And this ball is over the head of Victorino up against the wall. Brett Cecil has make that Brett Lawrie, leading it off with a double.
And his father, Russ, is loving that. Gives him the high five, and that is his grandfather getting a high five or a fist pump. The best thing about that at bat right there by Brett Lawrie, first fastball he sees, he turns on it. And that's what Kyle Kendrick has been giving up against Minnesota. He only lasted 4 innings and gave up 6 earned runs. Good start by the Blue Jays here as that ball eludes Victorino in center.
Dave Victorino was on his horse, gave it everything he had, but Brett Lawrie with that double. Nice way to start the ball game. And now for Colby Rasmus. He loves to pull it anyway, so kind of ideal the setup as that pitch is left up but off speed.
Take a little something off. We have seen Colby Rasmus actually pull balls that were on the outside part of the plate. He's got tremendous plate coverage now, and he really has a good sense for that ball inside, especially that slider down and in.
That breaking ball is left up and away. Colby Rasmus Been hot in the last 11 games, not only with the batting average, but primarily those power numbers, the 3 doubles and 3 home runs, driving in runs for the club. Brett Lawrie was dancing off second base, nobody near him on the infield, and we've seen Brett on a number of occasions take off running.
Not today. Not right now. You got to be playing for that big inning. You got your big hitters coming up.
Sounds like you got the lasso out.
If I was the manager, which I'm not. But you've got a leadoff double. You've got a 3-1 count. You're playing for the big inning.
This ball's driven to left center field. Nobody's getting to this one. One hop up against the wall. Lawrie scores easily. RBI double for Colby Rasmus, and the Blue Jays take a quick 1-0 lead. Colby Rasmus does it in front of Pops Tony.
Even though he's on the plate, and you were just talking about him pulling the ball, he can still hit the ball the other way and hit it hard. This ball is up and out over the plate, and he slams it into left center field with power. Ball slicing away from Victorino. No chance for him to run that one down. Another RBI for Rasmus.
It's right in that same gap where yesterday Rajai Davis was able to win the ball game for the Blue Jays, hitting one between the left fielder and center fielder. Jose Bautista stands in, 19 home runs. Hendrick with that little cutter finds the inside edge and gets in front 0-2.
Cuts inside, cuts outside. Not a lot of speed to his fastball. About 85, 86 miles an hour. He's using the cutter just a little bit more. Try and keep hitters off that fastball.
Snap throw down to second, and getting there late is Martinez to make a diving play to keep this from going into center field.
Michael Martinez, the second baseman, had broke to second for a pickoff play right here. Now he's going to go back to his position, and as he's going back, they tried to pick off once again, and if it wasn't for Martinez's athletic ability, this ball's into center field, and Colby Rasmus is at third.
Colby had a nice jump getting back into the bag. Pitch is low in the dirt. Doesn't get away far enough for Rasmus to move up. The double, by the way, for Lawrie, his 10th. For Rasmus, number 14. And for Colby, his 31st ribby on the season.
The top of that lineup, they are getting the job done ever since they moved into that 1 and 2 spot in the order for the Blue Jays.
Been an effective combination. Hendrick misses with that fastball that runs further in. And now 3-2 on Jose.
Don't expect him to challenge him right here. I could see him throwing that cutter or maybe using that change up.
Breaking ball stays up and in. Bautista reaches. 3 straight hitters reach for the Blue Jays to start things here on this Father's Day afternoon.
Good start for the Blue Jays. Let's take a look at the scouting report for Kyle Kendrick. He's basically a sinker slider type of player. He's got that cutter in the sinker, and he's got to be down in the strike zone also. Teams are hitting .299 against him. Doesn't strike out a lot of batters. Doesn't walk a lot of batters either. But right now, the one pitch that he's having trouble with, the fastball, only tops out about 90 miles an hour, and batters are hitting over 300 against it. So he's got to keep it down.
When you talk about hitters over the 300 mark against Kendrick, left-hand hitters have hit .294, right-hand hitters .304 on the season. So it's really not getting anybody out. Encarnacion takes outside. Very aggressive. Ruiz picks off Bautista at first base. Carlos Ruiz, unable to play yesterday, says he's ready to go today. And he's already made a couple of throws around the infield, this time getting Jose for the first out of the inning.
Set play as you watch Luna, the first baseman, just his second start this year, sneak in behind Jose Bautista. That's a set play. You call for a ball away from the right-handed hitter, opening up a nice lane for that catcher to make a throw to first base. See, I think they recognized that in yesterday's game, that Bautista likes to be very aggressive on the bases.
That secondary lead, you get a lot of guys who may not steal a lot of bases, but they get that large lead as the pitcher delivers.
And it's something that they will talk about. Hey, if that situation comes up, runners on first and third, let's go ahead and try and put the pickoff play on.
Edwin takes inside. Now the Phillies have had a rough go of late, and here this afternoon they immediately fall behind 1-0. But then you start to see some aggressive play defensively on the infield.
You have to. You have to be able to do that to try and help out your pitcher. Good pitch there. Down and away, and it came back over the outside part of the plate. Looked a little bit like that Vance Worley fastball that we saw on Friday night.
These Phillies have lost 11 of their last 14. And no coincidence, likely, Roy Halladay on the DL. It was Chase Utley and Ryan Howard both missing. This one close, but missing up and in. Kendrick's close on a couple of these breaking balls, but it's nowhere close to where he has the intention of throwing it to start with.
Wanted that ball down and away. He's averaging about 18 pitches per inning.
Now with this type of stuff, you can anticipate that Kendrick has had his struggles of late, and that's been true.
This was games at Minnesota and versus the Los Angeles Dodgers, lasting just 9 2/3 and giving up 11 earned runs. Walks a little bit of a problem, and there's the pitches per inning over the last 2 starts. Kept the ball in the ballpark for the most part this year.
Kendrick from Houston, Texas. He's 27 years of age. Originally a 7th round pick by the Phillies back in 2003. Edwin has battled on a couple of pitches well off the outside edge, but trying to protect that strike zone. Some of the numbers might indicate that Kendrick could even have an ERA higher than the 5.08 that he starts play with today, but with runners in scoring position, the batting average against just .217. Edwin gets a hanger and hangs out the line shot foul.
He is seeing everything that Kyle Kendrick has to offer. Trying to pull a string on the changeup. He's throwing him a curveball just off the plate. He's tried a cutter.
Rasmus with a good lead at second base. Fastball got him, and this one was spotted well on the outside corner. A little more pop on that heater. So we mentioned the Blue Jays have a number of their dads on hand this afternoon. They're taking in the ball game and having some fun. Ricardo Romero, what a fastball he threw to son Ricky for the first pitch here this afternoon.
We're going to have some of those dads join us here during the course of this ball game. Find out what Little League Baseball was like with their sons.
We going to get some dirt? Taking a strike at the outside corner, bottom of the knees, Kelly Johnson. His dad is here. First 3 hitters reached, 2 doubles and a walk, but now 2 outs, and there's a base hit into center field. A 2-out single is going to pick up another run for the Blue Jays. 2-0 here in the first inning. For Kelly Johnson, his 30th RBI.
Oh, you love those 2-out RBIs. There you go. Dad's giving them the high five. You got to love those 2-out RBIs. Kelly Johnson takes this pitch away from it and yanks it back through the middle. Good piece of hitting there to pick up that run with 2 outs.
Yeah, without that clutch 2-out hit, what started as a very promising inning had a chance to fizzle with just a single run. And Kelly Johnson likes to run. Kendrick is aware. Yunel Escobar at the plate. Now has that batting average over the 250 mark. Kendrick has certainly shown that he's willing to come in with the fastball.
He has to. He has to be able to move that ball around, in and out, up and down. Right now, he just doesn't have a whole lot behind those pitches.
Escobar 3 for 4 in yesterday's game. Takes another strike. Scored a pair of runs, drove one in. Picked up his 4th home run of the season. Hits one in the air to center field, easy for Victorino as he moves toward right center. And that'll do it for the Blue Jays in the first inning. But they get 2 very big runs on 3 hits and leave a man. Kelly Johnson, a key 2-out hit for the club. And it is Father's Day, and we are joined by Kyle's dad, Doug, a former Cy Young Award winner. Doug Drabeck joins us here in the booth, and it's got to be a lot of fun for you to be a part of things here on Father's Day, I would imagine.
No, it's a lot of fun. It worked out good with my schedule. Actually, it's our all-star break, so it all fell into place. But, you know, it's nice that the Blue Jays did this. You know, you don't see that happen often.
You're working as a minor league pitching coach and down at the A-ball level. Tell us what that's all about for you.
Well, it's been fun. I enjoy working with kids, and you know, it's actually been a learning process for me too. You know, I'll sit there and work with kids, and I'm like, you know, I could have used that advice when I was pitching myself. But it's fun just watching you know, guys kind of go through struggles, but also the light come on with some things, and you know, they start figuring things out.
You got to work with kids when Kyle was a youngster.
Yes.
You coached his team. Tell us about that.
Well, that was probably more interesting back then, especially with him and his brother on the same team. But it was fun. We had, you know, we had a lot of good kids in that area, the Houston area. Some are in the big leagues now, and It was fun. Same type of thing, just trying to teach them and watch them have fun.
Jay Bruce was on that team?
Jay Bruce was on the team for a while.
You're telling me he was a pitcher back
He was
then.
one of our left-handed pitchers, and, he played first a little bit, outfield a little bit, but he
wasn't a very big guy back then. 14 or 15?
Yeah, 14 or 15. Was kind of slow. Now he can run. He had a good arm, but he didn't have the arm he had, that he has now. Hitting for power, he was okay. It wasn't like he was a power hitter. Now all of a sudden he's hitting home runs in the big league. So it's funny how things turn out.
Here's a ball hit deep to right field. Bautista back. This one is getting out in a hurry. Home run, Jim Thome. And now 100 home runs for Thome for 3 different ball clubs. A very special number for a guy who has over 600 home runs on his career. It's a 2-1 Blue Jays lead here, just the second inning.
Just the 4th player in Major League history who could say that he has hit 100 home runs with 3 different organizations. That was a breaking ball over the middle of the plate, and Thome has seen plenty of these in his career, and he doesn't miss it.
Another pitch that was up in the strike zone, and you're right, Jim Thome has not missed a whole lot of these over his career. 5 hitter is Shane Victorino, switch hitter batting right-handed. We're talking with Kyle Drabek's dad, Doug Drabek. Yeah, he won a Cy Young Award in the National League. And how tough is it for you with Kyle at times struggling, and you've had the experience you've had, that chance maybe to give the information you feel he needs at any given moment?
Well, like I told him when he first got started, I said, I'm going to talk to you as like a pitching coach and not a dad. And, the one thing I told him is I'm just going to give you, maybe some suggestions or advice. I said, but, you're going to have different pitching coaches throughout your career, and they're the ones you're going to have to work with and trust, and they're going to have to, have trust in you, and y'all are going to have to, have good communication. And, like I said, I throw out some ideas, and most of the time, he ends up saying, yeah, we've talked about that, or we've tried that, or something like that. So, I try not to harp on things, because I know he's getting plenty of advice.
Growing up, did you recognize that he was a different type of pitcher than you were? You were sinker, slider,
right.
Great curveball, great command, in and out, up and down. He's 96.
And the hard breaking ball and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I started out basically being kind of a 2-pitch pitcher, maybe 3-pitch, but, as I started to pitch more, especially when I got up to this level, I learned that I need more. And that's when I started relying on movement more and kind of refining my breaking balls. And, I just realized that's what I needed. So, but he is a different pitcher.
He's different, but he can adapt.
He can. And for, kids coming up, I don't care what level, it's a learning process, even if you've been in the big leagues for a few years, you're still going to learn things. You're still going to have to make changes and adapt to different ways. And, for kids that are younger, just getting started, they got to have to trust it.
4 strikeouts now for Brett Cecil. 4 of the 5 outs he's gotten via the strikeout at this point.
Now making the adjustments himself after the home run by Thome. He strikes out Victorino and then paints on the inside part of the plate to a hitter who's hitting .362.
We are chatting with Dad, Doug Drabek, here on Father's Day at the Rogers Center. And Kyle's still just a kid, but he's already had Tommy John surgery.
Right.
And now we're faced with, I guess you guys are faced with another possibility of that being talked about, or whatever may come about. How frustrating is this?
Well, I know it's frustrating for him, and for me, it's, I'm disappointed, but I think I'm more frustrated for him than anything else. And I don't know what the final results will be, but he's gone through something before, and so he knows what it's going to take. And it may take a little bit to sink in, but I know he'll get it done and do whatever he has to do.
A big thanks to Doug Drabek, former Cy Young Award winner. 2-1 Blue Jays lead as we go to the bottom of the second. Ricardo Romero, father of Ricky Romero, got a chance to throw out the first pitch. He wants to throw it from the front of the mound, but Ricky says, no, you go back to the rubber. And then he shows us some pretty good cheese.
Look at that. Right down the heart of the plate with a little something on it.
Ricky liked it, no doubt about that. I wonder if Dad was nervous getting out there on the big league hill.
I don't think so, but how special is that? To be able to catch a first pitch from your father.
Yan Gomes gets the start today at first base. He leads off here in the second inning. The Blue Jays picked up 2 runs in the first. Ricky and Dad just having a good time, and Dad probably calling the family saying, I brought it. The radar gun said 91 on my fastball.
Did you get the TiVo out? Did you TiVo it?
Well, if you're Dad, you probably hope they didn't, because you want to run with that 91 to 93 range on the fastball story.
That was beautiful mechanics, and he threw a strike.
I think son Ricky has to be very proud on this Father's Day. Usually it goes the other way around, and we've got some dads that are already proud. Colby Rasmus has an RBI double. Kelly Johnson has an RBI single that came with 2 outs, and Brett Laurie got it all started with a double to left center field. For the Phillies, Jim Thome has slammed another home run in his great career. Solo job, and there's your 2-1 ball game. Looks like Kendrick is going to try to pick away with that running fastball coming back to the outside edge on the right-hand hitters.
To the righties, he has got to stay away from him. You can pitch inside just to show him, but you're going to have to get him out throwing the ball away.
The roof is now open here at the Rogers Center. Right on the outside edge, grounded to short. Rollins to his left, and he'll throw out Gomes for out number 1. This is what it looked like during the national anthems here this afternoon. Dads and sons together, and trying to enjoy things as much as possible. With injuries going on, you can see some of the Blue Jays that are involved in that regard, but what a proud moment that has to be.
Yeah, 3 generations of Lovellos here. Tori's father, and then his son Nick was here, and he was out on the field, so that was pretty cool to see this morning.
Rajai Davis, the hero in yesterday's extra inning win for the Blue Jays, the first this season in extra innings at the Rogers Center. Aggressively going after the first pitch, and Brian Butterfield showing off his hands down at third base as he handles this one. Rajai now hitting .264. He's hit 4 home runs on the year. Blue Jays in that 10th inning yesterday had a runner at third base and 1 out, couldn't get the run home, and then Rajai with 2 down came to the plate, stroked one to left center field, found the gap, and the Blue Jays exulted on the field. Oh, 2 from Kendrick, right on that outside corner. He's starting to find that edge with regularity. With yesterday's win and it being interleague play, Blue Jays are now 5-6 against the National League clubs this year. 4-4 right here at home, 1-2 on the road. Changeup got him. Second out of the inning, second strikeout for Kendrick.
First one came on a fastball to Encarnacion. This time you watch him push that ball back into his fingers and then throw the dead fish, the changeup, to Rajai Davis. Davis is a very good fastball hitter, so you've got to change speeds on him, and Kendrick does that to get the second out.
Bring up the 9-hitter, getting the start today behind the plate, Jeff Mathis. Pat, I've heard some people try to explain why the Blue Jays, through the years of interleague play, have not played well against National League clubs. 20 games under 500 as they start play today.
And we had a stat when we were in Atlanta where the Blue Jays were 30 games under 500 in interleague play. And there is no explanation. They just have to play better baseball. I don't think it has anything to do with, well, there's no DH in the National League Park, or there is in the American League Park, or whatever it is. They have just not played very good against the National League.
Yeah, I think that 30 under was a road figure. Here's a pitch popped up on the right side. The second baseman, Martinez. Now he can't find it, and the first baseman picks him up. Hector Luna with a heck of a play to pick up his second baseman. Watch this. Can't even find it, and now the first baseman has got to sprint.
Sportsnet, brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware and building center location. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Great crowd on hand this afternoon at the Rogers Center as the Blue Jays close out this 3-game set with the Phillies and this 6-game homestand, trying to get back to 500 on the homestand and trying to sweep away the Phils. It's a 2-1 Toronto lead as we go to the third inning. John Mayberry Jr. will stand in. Homered in yesterday's game. Brett Cecil making his 2012 Major League debut after toiling the entire season to this point on the minor league level. Comes up with a 4-2 record. He brings a strike.
Let's go back to spring training, Alan, and when he was sent down to AAA. He started off spring training very well, I thought, Brett Cecil. Threw a lot of strikes, threw a lot of quality strikes. And then as spring training went along, the batters started getting their timing down and did not finish in the best ways. But then was sent all the way down to AAA so he could start and get in game situations in AA.
Pitch is hit deep to left field. Davis going back at the track at the wall. This one's out of here. A second home run of the afternoon for the Phillies. The other by Jim Thome, and the Phils have caught the Blue Jays here in the third inning at 2.
Leadoff home run last inning by Thome, and another leadoff home run this inning from Mayberry. That's two days in a row that he has hit a home run. And the Phillies tie it up with the 5th home run by John Mayberry Jr. Looked like a cutter or a slider. They wanted it in, and it's up. And that really speeds the bat up of Mayberry. But give Cecil some credit. He went down to AA trying to, I don't want to say reinvent himself, but he's trying to find the pitches that he needs to do to get back to the big leagues. He had started off slowly in AA, but right now it's been one of their hotter pitchers.
Gets a pitch down, and it's been rare as he gets the ground ball here to get Michael Martinez. First out here in the third inning. Rajay Davis gave chase on this home run by John Mayberry, going up as high as he could. Just a hair late getting to that point. One out, back to the top of the order with Jimmy Rollins. Rollins grounded out that to first base as he led things off. We have seen Brett Cecil up quite a bit is my interpretation of things. Now brings one down around the knees as he gets a strike. And at his velocity, Tabby, I think you'd have to say if he's up a good deal, he's going to give up a lot of home runs.
Keep it out of the middle of the plate. I think that is very important. Go in and out. Stay down.
Blue Jays jumped on top with a pair in the first inning. Laurie and Rasmus doubled back-to-back. That made it 1-0. 2 outs later, Kelly Johnson drove in a run with a base hit. And the Phillies with the 2 solo home runs, Jim Thome and John Mayberry Jr. Curveball is popped up into shallow left center field. Rajay Davis has the call and the catch, and 2 down here in the third. Do sons play like dads? Well, in the case of John Mayberry Jr. and Big John Mayberry Sr., starting to look like it.
1980 was Big John's finest season here in Toronto. 30 home runs, 82 RBIs. He was my hitting coach while I was with Kansas City, and one of the best in baseball. Loved talking to him. There's his son, Junior. Junior used to hang around the ballpark when he was just a little kid.
You were telling me he had some pretty good impersonations of batting stances of Royals players.
Oh, he had them all, and he had them down to a T. He had the George Bretts and the Amos Otis.
I want to see the Pat Tabler.
Okay. Well, no, you don't. No, you don't. But yeah, he was born to play. Grew up around the ballpark. Went to Stanford, very high draft pick. And he's putting a whaling on the Blue Jays. Not just this series.
It's always great to look in the eyes of a player right after whatever happens. In this case, something good for Mayberry Jr., the home run. As you internally play it over and over and try to see the pitch and what you did right.
There's 3 home runs now that he has hit against the Blue Jays in his career in just 23 at bats.
3 balls and a strike. Placido Polanco at the plate. He's the third baseman this afternoon. And Cecil would like to get him right here and not have to face Hunter Pence. This is up again. First walk issued by Cecil. Comes with 2 outs. Hunter Pence, a strikeout victim in the first inning. Cecil has struck out 4 already. 2 in the first, 2 in the second inning. Got Pence on a changeup in the dirt, and now Pence awkwardly waves through, trying to check his swing.
You know, he can look so bad at times swinging the bat, but look at those numbers: 280, 13 home runs, 39 driven in. He's a dangerous hitter. He can come right back and put a beautiful swing on the baseball after that check swing type.
Little chopper foul. I'd like to put you in the spot of a scout. He's an amateur player. Big guy, and he is a big guy.
Yeah, and I didn't realize how big he is.
Yeah, you get next to him, he's a big guy. Yeah. He's awkward. I mean, let's be frank about it with his mannerisms. How would you view him as a scout?
That's the type of player where you've got to really look inside his heart and his mind.
Fouls one back as he has a big rip.
Because the game, watching him, what you see with your eyes and watching this game says, wow, he doesn't look like he's going to be able to handle it. So if you know a little something about him, he's a very strong-willed type of person. He's got a heart, and he's willing to learn and do it his way. Works very hard. That's where a scout's job is. That goes beyond just looking at the watch and looking at the times that you see and the swing.
I think he'd be one of those guys also that you'd probably have to say or hear from somebody, maybe his coach, that might say, don't judge him on one day. Watch him for a while. Don't look at what he looks like. Look at what he does.
Look at the numbers.
Yeah.
And look at how he, that's a great point about seeing him more than just one time, because if you go one time and he goes 0 for 4, you say, well, this guy can't play. You've lost out on a pretty decent player. But you go and watch him. Does he make the adjustments? What type of player is he from day to day? Does he see improvement?
Cecil leaves that curveball up and away. That'll fill it. That'll put Polanco on the move at first base. And another guy you don't want to face if you're Brett Cecil waiting on deck. That's Jim Thome. Curveball grounded left side off the glove of the diving Brett Lawrie. That'll kick off of Escobar into left field. And a base hit results. Runners at first and third now for the cleanup man of the Phils.
That is one time right there where the great range of Brett Lawrie hurts him.
Yeah.
If you got the great range, which he does, and if you're not going to field the ball cleanly, that's where you've got to just know to let that one go. Your shortstop is standing right behind you, right there, and he certainly's got enough arm to get it across the diamond. And I know third basemen, they're supposed to pick everything that they can get to, but if you have to leave your feet like that, it might be better just to go ahead and let the shortstop make that play.
Used to hear coaches and managers say, take everything you can get to, but then after they'd see those tip balls by third baseman, they'd say everything you can handle.
Can handle, meaning don't leave your feet.
Right.
You can't be diving for the ball like that. It's just too hard to get back up and then make a play.
Jim Thome clubbed his 4th home run of the season as he led off the 2nd inning. Just a bolt to right field. As he fouls one back, it's the 100th for Thome as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies, and we talked about it after that home run in the 2nd inning. He is now in some elite company with being a member of 3 different clubs, hitting 100+ home runs.
Alex Rodriguez hit 100 home runs with the Mariners, the Rangers, and with the Yankees. Reggie Jackson, Angels, Yankees, and A's, and Darrell Evans with 3 different clubs.
And when it comes to interleague home runs all time, he's right where he belongs, right at the top.
Best right there. 63 home runs in interleague play, more than Delgado, Griffey Canerco, and Alex Rodriguez. It's Jim Thome doing it like he always does, very quietly.
Hits one on the ground, right side. Kelly Johnson makes the play on the run and throws him out. And that'll do it for the Phillies. Brett Cecil able to get out of the 3rd inning with just the 1 run on the home run by John Mayberry. Coming up for the Blue Jays, top of the order, Brett Lawrie, Colby Rasmus, and Jose Bautista.
Happy Father's Day to my dad and to my grandpa. Glad you guys are here with me on this special day, and hope you guys have an awesome day.
So Brett Lawrie, like other Blue Jays teammates, with their dads on hand here this afternoon, and Brett Lawrie had a double for Pop and for Grandpa in the first inning and scored the Blue Jays' first run. He went after a fastball aggressively his first at bat, this time on the slider.
Why don't you go ahead and get another double for your grandfather this time?
Yeah, don't leave Dad and Grandpa arguing over who that first double was for.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. All regaled in the Blue Jay blue. With that double, Brett Lawrie hitting .288. He continues to slowly push toward .290.
It's difficult for a young hitter to come into the big leagues. He has a very good reputation in this game. He did a great job last year with the 9 home runs and 150 or so at bats last year. Well, the pitchers are going to change. They're throwing in more breaking balls, and now it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him.
Lawrie grounds one to short. That'll back up Rollins as he makes the play to get the speedy Brett Lawrie. And now time for an update with Jamie. Those Tampa Bay Rays start the day in third place in the American League East, trailing the Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles. Blue Jays are 3 games back of Tampa Bay. With one out, Colby Rasmus stands in. Colby had that RBI double in the first inning as he, like Lawrie, hit one to the gap in left center field and deep. Colby gets tied up a bit, pops one into shallow left field. Mayberry's there to make the catch, and 2 quick outs. Kyle Kendrick starting to settle in a bit. He allowed the 2 runs to the Jays in the first inning. Had a 1-2-3 second inning, getting Gomes, Davis, and Mathis, and now gets the first 2 here in the third inning. Jose Bautista drew a walk, but then was picked off first base by the catcher Ruiz. Nice quick play from the Phil's catcher. Carlos Ruiz has been turning into one of the game's very best all-around catchers.
With that pickoff, he should be right around 40% throwing out base stealers.
Good slider.
I like the aggressive attitude that Ruiz had there in the first inning. He realized that his pitcher was struggling to throw the ball where he wanted to. He tried to pick off at second base. That didn't work, and then he picked off Jose at first base.
Jose hits one sharply, but on the ground at third. Polanco makes the play from the knees and throws out Bautista. Another 1-2-3 inning. Just 8 pitches needed by Kyle Kendrick. As we go to the 4th inning, it's a 2-2 game, Phils and Blue Jays. Rogers Center, as the Blue Jays are tied with the Phillies at 2. And like a number of his teammates, he has his dad here. He happens to be in the booth with us right now. That's John Morrow. And John, welcome to the booth. And
thank you.
You know, like so many parents, I think we all think our kids are special. When did you become realistically aware that Brandon had a chance to play professionally as a baseball player?
Probably when he was junior in high school, between junior and senior year.
Start blowing away the other hitters?
Yeah, he did. He kind of came out of nowhere. When he was a youth growing up, he was never anything outstanding. He was always a little kid, and sometimes didn't get picked to all-star games or all-star teams. And, you know, he made all-stars as a 15-year-old, and he pitched to one batter, and that was it.
And that was it.
And he walked him, and he was out of the game. So, you know, Brandon never really came around till he was in high school.
More of a late bloomer?
Yeah, definitely. He was a little kid growing up, and you know, it was pretty amazing.
Did he play other sports?
He did a little bit. He played football when he was 10, and you know, he was like the number 2 quarterback and got run over every time. So he quickly became a defensive back, and he played basketball, CYO like every other year, and played freshman basketball, but then he kind of settled on baseball.
He looks like a basketball player to me. Just he's 6'3", he's thin, he's got long arms.
Yeah, he could be.
Did he have any interest in going, or was he good enough to go anywhere in basketball?
No, not really. He kind of concentrated on baseball. He loved baseball, and playing it since he was, you know, 4 years old.
He wound up playing baseball at Cal collegiately. What led him there?
Well, he kind of bloomed when that junior year, and played for a travel team called NorCal, who plays nationally. You know, they go to Jupiter, Florida, and East Cobb, Murrieta, and stuff. And my wife and I traded off, taking them places every year, and they saw him someplace at Showcase or something and became interested in him. Long Beach State was interested as well, and he just did his visit. It was probably Mom, because Mom took him to Cal, and you know, they treated him good. And Mom put her stamp of approval on it.
Well, it always goes that way, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah.
So you've talked about his athletic exploits. What did he like to do away from sports?
Well, Brandon likes the outdoors, and usually ended up being in August when he was done with baseball. But we'd go camping, go backpacking up in the Sierras, which is really cool area. And you know, before he became a professional, he liked to snow ski and that sort of thing. So
you're a high school baseball coach, aren't you?
I am, yeah.
Did you coach Brandon in high school?
No, I coached him through his youth baseball up until he was like 15, and then he coached after that. But he had other people's coaching after that. But I've got 3 boys, and my youngest is 21 now, and I coached him from 8 until through high school.
They get a certain time in their life where they don't listen to Dad anymore.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Is that what you were thinking about, why you didn't coach him in high school?
No, I didn't have the coaching talents to coach him in high school.
What I want to know is, does he listen to you to this day?
You know, Brandon and I got a special relationship that I don't really bug him about his baseball and don't critique him. He doesn't call me every night after he pitches, and you know, I just send him a text or phone call, hey, great job, and that sort of thing. But this last year was kind of bugging me a little bit, where he was just closing off so much. So I had to mention something that looked like he needed to.
His front side?
Front side, his timing was a little off. So I mentioned something there. I don't know if it made any difference, but
I think it made a difference. I mean, you've seen him pitch.
But yeah, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, well, complete that critique on this season. What you've seen and what you think it points to for Brandon Morrow through the years.
Well, you know, he's having such an outstanding year. I'm really sorry to see and feel bad for him that it happened before the All-Star break, because a couple more good starts, and I think he would have been a shoe-in. So, you know, Brandon is so focused on baseball, and I'm sure he's going to continue to improve, and he's just learning learning to pitch. This year he's starting to learn to pitch instead of throw.
We got a great,
That's a big thing.
We got a ball game going on here below us as we enjoy Father's Day with Brandon Morrow's dad, John. Great leaping, diving grab by Yunel Escobar at shortstop to rob Carlos Ruiz. That's the first out here in the fourth inning after a leadoff single by Shane Victorino. And Hector Luna will come to the plate.
Well, just like Ruiz helped out his pitcher with a good defensive play, picking off Bautista in the first inning, Escobar helps out his starter by grabbing that line drive. Oof.
So, John, how tough is it to be a dad of a professional athlete?
Well, you get nervous every day he's pitching, and you know, sometimes if he's not throwing strikes, my fist might hurt a little bit from slamming on the desk watching him or something.
Isn't it a helpless feeling?
Yeah, it is.
Because all you do is just sit there and you want to do well and you know what to say to him and, hey, why don't you try this? You want to help him out so much and you can't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
How do you watch the games?
We do it on the computer, and sometimes we'll connect it to the TV and watch it that way.
You watch Sportsnet, don't you?
Oh, absolutely.
There you go.
We watch that. And I listen to XM radio, which, you know, I'm busy, and a lot of the games are earlier starts, you know, 4 o'clock starts, so I got to kind of catch up. And one of the reasons we do it with the computer on MLB is they archive the games and we can go back and watch them afterwards. But I have to say this, it might embarrass Grandpa a little bit and Grandma, but they won't watch Brandon live on when he's pitching. They'll wait.
Why?
So they get too nervous.
Too nervous?
Yeah, they don't want to jinx him.
Runner goes to throw down to second base is a good one, but not in time as Victorino steals second. So now in scoring position.
It's only been thrown out 2 times this year. He's got one of the base stealing percentages in all of Major League Baseball. Picks it perfectly. The time with those quick feet gets in there for the 15th time this year.
Well, I've got to ask you, John, a couple of years ago, Brandon got involved in a near no-hitter. 9th inning, 2 outs, and a ground ball on the right side of the infield that eventually was ruled a base hit. And I just love to know, how did that feel for you guys as a family?
Well, coming so close, you know, and such a great game that he pitched with the 17 strikeouts. And you're just hoping that last ground ball that for an instance you're not seeing where the ball's going. And Hill made a great effort to get it, but just heartbreak that he didn't get that. But then the next thing you're thinking, and I think it was a 1-0 game, so now you're thinking, God, get him out. We don't want him. No more hits. Get the shutout, because it was his first shutout too. And above all, winning the game. He pitched your heart out to this point. I hope things go good so he gets the win. So
Jose Bautista with a great jump to make the play in right center, and then quickly and alertly throws to second to double up Shane Victorino. And just like that, the Blue Jays and Brett Cecil get out of the inning. Big thanks, John, for joining us. That's John Morrow. And Jose Bautista is some kind of ball player. 2-2 game to the bottom of the 4th. And does he ever by Jose Bautista. What a great jump in right field on this little shallow looper to turn it into the double play, ending the inning.
Then the presence of mind to get Shane Victorino, who was creeping off the bag at second base, another outfield assist. Bryce Harper found out about that arm from Jose Bautista. Now Shane Victorino finds out about it.
Jose Bautista's dad. Yeah, he's just like any other fan. He appreciates great defense. Edwin Encarnacion leads it off for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the fourth inning. We're tied at 2. 2 runs in the first for the Blue Jays. RBI double Colby Rasmus. Kelly Johnson a 2-out single to drive in a run. The Phillies have picked up a couple of solo home runs. Jim Thome and John Mayberry Jr. And there's your 2-2 game. Edwin hits one slowly. Fair ball inside the bag at third, and Edwin beats it out. And this is something we have seen quite a bit from Edwin Encarnacion this year. He has turned his running abilities around in a big way.
Yeah, he is the Blue Jays' best base runner. You don't have to be the fastest when you want to be the best. And this time, out of the box, comes out thinking about the base hit and stretches out. You know what's important about that is he hit the front part of the bag. Shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. He's straight to the bag and hits the front part of it, just beating that throw from Polanco.
Yeah, you see Edwin digging right there. And I wonder what Dad thought watching his son running here at Rogers Center like that. Maybe that's what it looked like when the dinner call was made back when he was a kid.
When I saw his father down on the field today, there he is right there. Elpido doesn't even look anything like Edwin in terms of physique. Edwin is a little shorter, stockier, bigger legs, bigger arms. His father is a little taller, a little thinner. It's like, wow, where'd you get your power?
Edwin, not only that power hitter, and Dad's talking about it right now, but the guy that can run as well. Kelly Johnson 1 for 1 with an RBI single, and it was clutch in the first inning in front of his dad. 2-out single to make it 2-0 at the time, putting the Blue Jays on top. With that base hit, the average for Kelly at 262. Kendrick works him in on the hands to pick up the second strike.
He tried it away last time, and that's where he got his base hit. So now they're going to try and time up. The problem with that is if you miss, he can pull one through that right side. A lot of room on the right side of the infield.
Kelly takes away. 4 hits for each club, no errors on the afternoon. Been a while since Kelly Johnson has hit a home run, his 9th, and that last one coming against Baltimore back on the 28th of May. Part of a 6-2 Blue Jays win. Kelly hits one on the ground. Tough play at short, but Rollins makes it onto Martinez and then to Luna as the Phillies turn the double play. First turn by Philadelphia on the afternoon.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Big crowd on hand here at the Rogers Center. Rooting for the Blue Jays to make it 3 straight over the Phillies and break even on this 6-game homestand. Yunel Escobar now bats with the bases empty after that double play. 6-4-3 grounded into by Kelly Johnson. Sharply hit up the middle. That's a base hit. 5th for the Blue Jays. And Yunel Escobar stays hot now. 4 hits between yesterday's game and here this afternoon.
Pretty good approach at the plate by Yunel Escobar over the last couple of days, staying right with it. It doesn't look like he is really wound up as much as he was before, where that back is really facing towards the pitcher. Standing up just a little bit more.
Some guys would call it wrapped with the bat. He gets that bat wrapped back toward the pitcher sometimes, and now a little less so.
His back was almost turned towards the pitcher. That creates a very long swing.
Yan Gomes gets a start and does it at first base this afternoon. He's had some big hits, pinch hits for the ball club of late. 0 for 1 on the day, grounded out to shortstop. Tough slider finds the outside black. Gomes hitting .229. Already 3 home runs on his young career. And he gets drilled. Kyle Kendrick will come up and pick up the baseball. Yan Gomes just jogs on down to first base.
Got to pitch inside. You got to be able to move that right-handed batter off the plate and then go back outside. Ruiz really slides to the inside. Wanted that ball in and it hit the elbow of Yan Gomes.
So the Blue Jays have had 2 hits and a hit batter here in the inning, and yet 2 down, runners at first and second for Rajai Davis. Rajai struck out swinging in the second inning. One of the 2 for right-hander Kyle Kendrick this afternoon. Rajai Davis, the Cliff Lee killer. And then carried it on into the 10th inning as the bullpen was on for the Phillies.
Hit a pretty good breaking ball from Savory. It had a lot of spin to it, but because there were 2 strikes, he really shortened up.
It's a cloud-covered sky here at the Rogers Center this afternoon, but great weather for baseball. And we are just about packed in here at the Rogers Center. Pitch it on the ground up the middle. That'll find center field. Here comes Yunel Escobar. He will score to make it a 3-2 Toronto lead. RBI single, Rajai Davis.
Rajai came into this game with runners in scoring position, hitting a cool .333. Don't try and do too much to the baseball, just find a hole somewhere. And that's what he does against Kendrick. It looked like a breaking ball down and away, caught too much of the plate. And on that turf, bounces it into center field for an RBI single.
What a valuable player Rajai Davis becomes as he starts to swing the bat well.
Because he can help you defensively with his great speed in the outfield. He can help you on the bases with that speed, stealing bases and going first to third.
Brings up the 9-hitter Jeff Mathis. 0 for 1, popping out to first base. That coming to end the second inning. Boy, Jeff Mathis, the batting average at 184. He's got some power. 3 home runs in limited chances. Back to Rajai Davis, and yesterday as he won it in the 10th inning.
Runner on third base. Listen, we're with 2 outs. A slider that's down and in. And you were talking about his bat, and it's starting to come around, and we're starting to see a little bit more power from Rajai. Opened him up just a little bit more so he can see the pitcher. And they're letting him just go ahead and swing away as hard as you can. Good things have been happening.
There's a pitch that is likely off the outside edge at the point of going by the plate. And now 1-2 the count on Mathis. Rajai Davis now with 4 hits in this series against the Phils. Couple of those doubles. So Mathis stays alive.
These are at bats where you say, okay, I want to watch Rajai run right here. Yeah. Come on, Mathis, hit one in the gap. Jeff, let's watch Rajai run. Because there's nothing finer than watching a guy who can really run, score from first base on an extra base hit.
Rajai Davis is the gazelle in this game. Jeff Mathis, that grinder behind the plate, a very good defensive catcher. As that fastball working away at the outside corner. Pitch that was called a strike earlier in this at bat. Two and two the count. Slider got him off the outside edge, but induces the swing. And that'll do it for the Blue Jays. They picked up a run in the 4th inning on 3 hits. There was a hit batter, and they leave a pair. Now it's time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry Bronx. Enjoying those big comfy green chairs in the TD Comfort Zone is a lucky dad and his family, all of whom received a seat upgrade to the TD Comfort Zone. All part of TD Father's Day at Rogers Center, where the first 20,000 fans received a Blue Jays replica batting helmet courtesy of TD. It's a 3-2 Toronto lead. John Mayberry Jr., who homered in the 3rd inning, will lead it off. Second home run on the series for Mayberry. 5 on the year now, as Cecil leaves one up to start the inning. 86 miles an hour. That's tough to tell. Is that the fastball or is that the changeup?
Well, he's about 88 to maybe 90, 91 miles an hour. That's it with his fastball. At the time, 87, and it was down. He was talking about him now having to hit his spots and turning the ball over just a little bit more, cutting the ball just a little bit more, not just on the inner half to right-handers, but on the outer half also. It used to bother him looking up on that scoreboard and seeing 87, 88 miles an hour. Remember when he first came up, he was 93, 94. That was 2 or 3 years ago. But that is not there now, so he has learned to pitch with that at that speed. He said it used to bother him where he could just pump it up there at 88. Now he doesn't even look at the scoreboard, doesn't even care.
We're talking about Brett Cecil in his debut for the ball club in 2012, a guy who 2 years ago, 2010, as a 15-game winner, led this club in wins.
And he went 11-2 versus the American League East. And that's a lot of decisions within the American League East to say, hey, this guy had it working that season. I mean, it wasn't something like he was 2-1 or 3-1, had a winning record against him. He was 11-2 against the American League East. And I remember the one start he had in Cleveland where he was rushing it up there at 94. Had a no-hitter into the 7th inning, had 10 punch-outs. But watching him today, this is a different type of pitcher. He's got to back off of it at times. He's got to really be able to spot his pitches.
Works it into the 5th inning with the 1-run lead. 3-2 Blue Jays on top. Leaves that curveball up, and it's lined into right field. Solid base hit for Mayberry, his second hit of the afternoon.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
So the leadoff man reaches here in the 5th inning against Cecil. 5 hits for the Phils, 6 for the Blue Jays. Now the 9-hitter, Michael Martinez, the second baseman, stands in. 0 for 1, grounded out to Brett Laurie in the 3rd inning. Cecil with a bit of a slide step as he brings a strike. John Mayberry had not had much success against the Blue Jays prior to this last couple of days. Turning to bunt and taking high is Martinez. Even with yesterday's game for Mayberry in the home run, the second he's hit career against Toronto. He came in with just a 136 batting average in 22 at bats against the Blue Jays starting play today. Get those limited numbers, and numbers can get so skewed.
3 home runs, all 3 of them here at Rogers Center now. All of them off of breaking balls.
That right foot on the carpet for Mayberry. Pitch up and away. And that snap throw from Mathis down to first base. Gets away from Yan Gomes, but no room to move up for Mayberry. Jeff Mathis behind the plate. Like Carlos Ruiz of the Phillies, very aggressive. He is looking for opportunities to pick guys off.
He made that close. Not a real good ball to handle. But he, with a very quick throw, didn't even have to get up. Just snapped it down there. Made it very close.
Pitch hit in the air. Medium depth center field. Easy for Rasmus. Drifts a bit into right center to make the play, and out number 1. Well, I got a chance to play against Mike Scioscia. He was with the Dodgers at the time in the National League. Played against him for a long time. Had the greatest of respect for Scioscia as a ball player. Grounded out hard. Worked the game like just the way you want to see if you're another ball player. And of course, he has taken over, long-time outstanding manager for the Angels, and he was the manager of Jeff Mathis in Anaheim, and really loved Mathis as a catcher.
You never had to slide into him, did you, at home plate?
You know, I avoided that with every possibility. Mike Scioscia was really not the Johnny Bench tree in front of the plate. He was a linebacker that would come after you.
Nose guard.
Yeah.
The best that I saw him played against at blocking the plate on plays at home. But he does a lot of interesting things with his catchers. He makes the pitcher stand behind the catcher when he is catching their bullpens to talk about, you know, hey, I like to put the ball here in this situation. They really work together, and he learned, Jeff Mathis learned, I think, from the best catching instructor in Mike Scioscia.
Long look in by Cecil, can't get the sign. It's the leadoff man, Jimmy Rollins, at the plate. 1 out here in the 5th inning. See Jeff Mathis taking those peeks up to Jimmy Rollins, making sure the hitter's not looking back, maybe trying to see if there's anything different that you can see. Hitters will move sometimes a little closer to the plate, maybe an inch back away from the plate. You just watch all the tendencies.
Yeah, the catcher is sitting right there, and he knows everything. Right now he's getting the sign from the coach inside, what they want to do, if they want to throw over to control the running game. And then you take a quick glance at the batter, see if he changed his toe hole in the batter's box. Maybe he's moved up or off the plate just a little bit.
I'm really intrigued in watching Brett Cecil, and everybody has their story and what they're working on and trying to improve to become a major leaguer, to become a better major leaguer. But I'm not seeing enough pitches down. There is one for Brett to feel like things have really changed in the effort this year in the minor leagues. Gets that changeup down well. And that'll be a strikeout pitch for him. Sometimes that slider that he bites down and in on the right-hand hitters in particular.
Throwing a few more curveballs this afternoon than what I remember from last year.
Looks like Don Wakamatsu has a stopwatch that he's working on to see what the delivery times might be. And
giving signs to Mathis on to control the running game.
There's that fastball that gets near the belt level in terms of elevation, and where you let major league hitters get pitches between that mid-thigh range on up to the belt and some above, and you better have a pretty good fastball to get it by. Curveball got him. There's that curveball that Pat was talking about. And now with 2 outs, time to go to Jamie on an update. What do those Washington Nationals look good while they played 3 games here in Toronto? And how about Bryce Harper? He was so incredible in that series against the Blue Jays, and yesterday, what a day for the youngster.
Hang with him.
Yeah, over 7, and it got uglier from there.
What would you call that when a guy punches out 5 times in a game?
We know that 3 strikeouts is a sombrero, 4 is the golden sombrero, and 5, I don't know. Where do we go? Is that platinum? I'm not sure what, is it diamond?
I would go with one of those.
Yeah.
A lot of breaking balls. Looked like a different player yesterday than the one we saw here at Rogers Center.
2 outs for Polanco, who hits one sharply on a hop off the body and glove of Escobar, and everybody's going to be safe. This ball hit right at Unell at shortstop. Mayberry is into second base, and it's just not an easy play when a ball gets hit this sharply.
Knuckles right at Escobar, tries to smother that ball and then catch it and make a play. But because that ball was right at him, he's going to be charged with his 7th error of the season. Not come up with that hard hit ball. Still 2 down.
So Cecil has more work to do here in the inning. Starts with a changeup on the 3-hitter Hunter Pence. It's a big day for Brett Cecil. Trying to make his presence felt in this rotation. The pitch is hit in the air to left field. Rajai Davis, plenty of room as he drifts back, staring up with the glasses on, and he'll make the catch, and that'll do it for the Phillies in the 5th inning. No runs, a hit, and they leave a pair. 2-0. Make that 3-2. Blue Jays lead it.
thanks for everything you did for me. You were a huge influence in my life. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that, and I appreciate everything you did for me, and I love you.
There's Luis Americo Bautista, and what a proud pop he has to be. The way things have turned out with Jose Bautista here in Toronto in particular. What a great player and tremendous young man. Top of the order for the Blue Jays, Brett Lawrie, Colby Rasmus, and Jose Bautista. Blue Jays with 3 runs on 6 hits and an error, and the Phillies 2 runs on 5 hits. Kyle Kendrick touched up for those 2 runs in the first inning. Brett Lawrie played a big part in it as he led off with a double to the gap in left center field, chased home by Colby Rasmus, who did the same.
Good to see the extra base hit starting to come in Brett Lawrie's bat. He's got 3 doubles in this series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Waiting back just a little bit more, recognizing pitches, not really jamming himself, really extending through the baseball a lot better.
One of those doubles off the wall in right field, so like you say, waiting back, seeing the baseball a little longer and driving it. 10 doubles on the season for Brett. It's the first series that Brett Lawrie has ever played against the Phillies in, and he's done a very fine job. 2 hits in each of the first 2 games, 1 already here this afternoon. Kendrick brings the 2-2.
Yeah, this is all new to him. You know, the interleague play and facing pitchers you've never seen before. They might see him in spring training, but I don't think that counts.
No.
Pitchers are working on certain things in spring training, so that for a young player, he's just getting his way around this league.
Kendrick misses with that slider down and away, a leadoff walk, and the speed of Lawrie aboard. These two have not been together long at the top of the Blue Jays order, but since they've gotten together, boy, have they been good.
Good on base percentage, a good average, you know, setting the table, and you bring that energy to the top of the lineup, and you've got some speed at the top of the lineup. You're going to create RBI situations for Bautista and Encarnacion. And when Kelly Johnson and Escobar start hitting like they've had the last couple of days, now you've got some length in your lineup, and you'll be able to score some runs.
Drive to right field. Just enjoy this one. Second take for Rasmus. A 2-run home run, and the Blue Jays now jump on top 5-2 over the Phils.
There's a sound that a well-struck ball makes when the ball's going to leave the ballpark, and we all know it, Alan. We've heard it before. Listen to this sound. That is a home run swing and the sound of a long home run. Rasmus with number 10.
He has 3 RBIs on the afternoon, now 33. And he is becoming a big run producer at the top of this order for the Blue Jays. Colby Rasmus, what a valuable player he becomes as a center fielder that can play the great defense.
John Farrell was telling me this morning that he is really liking where Colby Rasmus is right now, hitting in that number 2 slot. He can pull the ball if there's a runner on first. He's got power. 25 home runs, on pace for that. 85 RBIs. Not bad for number 2 hitter.
Jose pops one in the air. Down the left side. It's the third baseman Polanco in foul territory to make the catch. There's the home run ball by Colby Rasmus. It's Father's Day. Yeah, Pop, you deserve this more than I do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. My son took me to a ball game, to a Blue Jays game, and gave me a baseball.
He caught it without a glove, too. It was a rocket.
With one out, it brings up Edwin Encarnacion. At the end of this inning, as we come back for the 6th inning, Tony Rasmus is going to join us here in the booth, and that's the pop of Colby, and I imagine his buttons are bursting right about now.
Right on cue.
I don't know if Tony said he wasn't going to come to the booth until his son had hit his 10th home run of the year, but it's worked out that way one way or the other.
RBI double in the 1st inning, and then a 2-run home run here. Yeah, those numbers, those are pretty good numbers that he is on pace for. I'm sure any manager would take that. 25 and 85 at the top of your lineup.
Edwin hits one foul outside the bag at third. J.P. Arancibia hit one just scalded right over the corner of the bag yesterday for a big run producing hit. Edwin trying to get it hot again. He has struggled a bit lately, and Arancibia gets a day off this afternoon. There's that hanging breaking ball, gets popped up. Maybe a play at first for Luna. He does have room, and 2 down here in the inning.
The all-new 2012 Honda CR-V. Yeah, it does that. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
That looks tranquil. So does that if you're a Blue Jays fan. 5-2 Jays on top. They've won the first 2 games of the series. Kelly Johnson out in front on the change. Kelly with an RBI single back in the 1st inning. He's also hit one sharply on a hop to short that resulted in a 6-4-3 double play. The Jays with 2 in the 1st, 1 in the 4th, and 2 more here on the home run by Rasmus. Johnson drives one to center field. Long run for Victorino. Now backs under to make the play. So the Blue Jays pick a pair in the 5th inning. They'll walk to Laurie to start it, and then Colby Rasmus against Kyle Kendrick clubs his 10th. He'll pick it up here in the 6th inning with the Blue Jays on top 5-2, in good part because Colby Rasmus has hit a 2-run home run here on Father's Day, and his dad Tony is with us here in the booth. And Tony, I imagine you're a bit of a proud dad right now, and your son is appearing to be rather comfortable in a Toronto Blue Jays uniform.
Yeah, I hadn't had him. I don't believe he's had a lot of fun the last few years, but seemed to be smiling a lot more, making a few more plays in the outfield and swinging the bat a little better. So things have worked out pretty good to this point.
Good signs going on.
And since he has come here, to me it seems like he's come out of his shell. He's just a regular guy, just having a lot of fun. Do you notice that when you watch him play this game?
I'll be honest with you, he was this way prior to reaching St. Louis, and I think that they didn't want to have him show a lot of emotion on the field and stuff, so he kind of pulled back into a little shell, so to speak. But I'll be honest with you, this year I've seen him smile and make little arm pumps in the outfield and stuff he used to do. So it's been fun for us to watch that take place this year.
From the Rasmus point of view, what went wrong in St. Louis?
Well, I'll tell you what. How long is this show?
We got 4 innings.
No, I mean, really, the best way to characterize the whole situation is probably him and Tony just didn't get along. The game is about relationships, and theirs just didn't work out well. That's the best way that I can put it. I'm not sure he felt like Tony's on his side all the time. That's probably the best way. The most common comment I've heard from Colby.
And of course, Tony being Tony La Russa, the longtime skip of the Cardinals.
Correct.
Well, Colby's been flexing the muscles here of late, and we know he hit more than 20 home runs as a very young player with the Cardinals already in his career. But now he looks like a guy who might be moving toward even bigger and better things at this stage of his career.
Well, I think he's always been a power hitter, basically a pull guy, and I think the last few years they've tried to get him to spray the ball around the field a little better.
Jim Thome hits one on the ground at first for out number 1.
Who was trying to hit him to spray the ball around the ballpark?
I think what they tried to do was turn him into a better hitter, a more complete hitter. I mean, that's probably the way they went about doing it. Maybe he just didn't feel comfortable doing that. I think it took away from a lot of the positives of his game. Which is he's a power hitter. I mean, he's not going to slap balls the other way, with a lot of success. So I think allowing him, Murph, getting him on the plate, moving up the box, and just letting him get up there and rip it.
How frustrating is that for a father who you feel like you just don't have any control? You just got to let him go. And then how frustrating is it for a son who's trying different things, finding his way at the big league level? It's tough.
Well, it's tough when you've coached him since coach pitch all the way up, and he kind of leaned on me for advice a lot of the times. And, I was kind of like somebody he'd go to when he was struggling. And trying to wean him off of me was probably the hardest thing that I've tried to do. I knew he was playing for the Cardinals, and it was their job, those guys working with him, and it wasn't my place to be in it. But he kept leaning on me. When I'd see him struggling, it's hard for me to sit at the house and watch him struggle, and he's saying, "Come help me," and for me not to go. I mean, you know what I mean? I guess people don't understand that a lot of times, but
Here's a line shot. There's Colby Rasmus. The outstanding defensive instincts in center field as he takes in this line shot by Carlos Ruiz. Second out of the inning as it brings up Hector Luna for the Phillies. You were talking about, and we're talking with Tony Rasmus, the father of Colby Rasmus, about that Colby was a happy guy, a guy with a nice personality before, earlier in his career, and maybe had some things kind of stunted a little bit. Have you seen him grow here in the last year or so?
Well, I think he's learned a lot from that entire experience in St. Louis, and I think he's come out of that a much smarter baseball player. And I tell you what, I think I guarantee you this: he appreciates this opportunity here. John has been great for him. John is a positive guy, and I mean, Colby just, I get tired of hearing about John Farrell, to be honest with you. What I mean? He's always talking about how great he is, and but it's been fun for us to watch him. The game is supposed to be fun, and he's having fun playing it again, and that was all we ever hoped that would come out of that whole situation. Was he would be allowed to play again and have a little fun playing the game.
You could see some of the personality come out of him after that catch, how he's talking to his fellow outfielders. Well, he's always had a ton of talent. It's just how do you get them to bring it out? And the Blue Jays have done a pretty good job of that, haven't they?
I think so. I mean, St. Louis guys tried. I mean, you know, obviously they just didn't click. I mean, you know, it wasn't for lack of trying. Tony didn't want Kobe to be a bad baseball player. I mean, you know what I mean? Just the way they went about doing it, he just didn't jihad with that. That's the best way I can put it.
There's a fly ball down the right field side. Bautista near the seats makes that sliding effort and comes up just shy. And we're talking with Tony Rasmus about his son Colby. Did you have any particular point that was kind of that low point where you just thought it just can't get any lower than this?
Well, you know, probably when you know, there were some comments made in the media about you know, Colby was you know, wasn't listening to his coaches, and that's when I was like, wow, you know, he needs to get out of this place now. I mean, you know, once the St. Louis Cardinals coaches start saying that in the media, well, it's bad. So we were hoping something would happen pretty quick then, and it did. And like I said, it was tough for him. You know, he's been in the Cardinals organization for years, and it's tough when you make a move. And I remember Lance Berkman told him it's going to be tough that first part of the year, and it was. But he got home and cleared his head out, and I've only seen him get better and better as the year's gone on. So, I mean, I'm expecting him to only get better from this point out.
Well, it happens all the time in baseball. Organizations miss on players, or they make mistakes, or they brand them a certain thing. That mistake is Toronto's triumph, I think. And that's the best way to look at it. A chance to start over.
You know, I think so. I mean, you know, without that trade last year, the Cardinals probably don't make it to the World Series. They needed those arms. They got that. Kobe got a chance to come up here. I think he's got a chance to be a big impact player if he puts it all together. And I think you're starting to see him put it together a little bit better. And I think Toronto will benefit from that. He definitely wants to prove those people wrong. So he's got a guy. He's a guy on a mission. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to show everybody how good he is.
Okay, now Father's Day, he's got an RBI double and a 2-run homer. How proud are you?
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It's hard to get this headset on my head right now.
Did you see it because we were shooting where the booth where you guys were?
Well, they brought me up early down below you right here. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to spend the rest of the game down there because he hit the home run when I was in that spot. So I'm a superstitious guy, so we have to get back in that position.
It's a game of failures, baseball is, as the pitch has popped up. So we won't get to that question. Kelly Johnson's going to settle under and retire the Phillies in the 6th inning. Tony Rasmus, great to have you on Father's Day, and hope you're having a good time watching Colby play for the Blue Jays and slam it around the yard.
Having a great time. Thank you.
And the Angels in town. Special kids prize tickets in the 200 and 500 level outfield seats. After the game, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros. For tickets and information, call 416-341-1234. You can go to BlueJays.com, as well as most Rogers Plus locations. To the bottom of the 6th inning we go. 5-2 Blue Jays lead it. Colby Rasmus has picked up 3 RBIs, his 10th home run of the year. That was a 2-run job. He also picked up his 14th double in driving in a run. Yunel Escobar leads it off. He's 1 for 2 on the day. And that base hit coming with 2 outs and the bases empty in the 4th inning led to a run as Escobar scored on a base hit by Rajay Davis. Kyle Kendrick, the right-hander, still on the hill for the Phillies.
Escobar doing a better job of late of hitting breaking balls. And I think that has helped him to get that average up to 253. 4 home runs and 20 RBIs. Over 350 since the month of April. Hitting the off-speed pitch.
What a spectacular Father's Day it's been for us as we've joined up with Doug Drabeck, John Morrow, Tony Rasmus. And they're just a small contingent of the fathers who are here enjoying their sons with the Blue Jays. Yunel hits it in the air to right center field. Moving over to make that play is Shane Victorino in out number 1.
That must be so cool to be able to come here. The Blue Jays brought 13 fathers here and some of the grandfathers to watch their son play big league baseball. That has to be so cool to be able to be a part of that.
There must come a point at which you relax a little bit as a parent or a grandparent. I know my son only played, one of my sons played some high school ball, and it was hard for me to relax. It was.
My son played, my oldest son went and played college baseball. My older son played college basketball, but the baseball part of it, I wanted to go out there and show him how to do it during the game. It was very hard. That's why I wanted to ask Tony Rasmus what it was like to sit here and watch your son play.
Every moment you feel like there's something you could say to help them out. And what you really have to do is learn to just close your mouth and sit on your hands a little bit.
That's exactly right. And it's tough. It's tough. That's why he needed to get back down to the stairs and go find his lucky chair.
That and superstition, it's all about making sure you're sitting in the right place. And that's the way you help the most as a father. There's a slider down and away. As a player, were you superstitious to the extent that you had to maybe sit in the same place in the dugout and all those sorts of things?
Certainly. And if a player tells you they weren't, they're right. Did you ever come across a player who wasn't superstitious?
Well, look, here was my story. I tried so hard to be non-superstitious that I became superstitious. I can't do this again because I did it last time. Therefore, if I'm not superstitious, I've got to do something different. So it would just perpetuate this differentness, if you will, about my routine. And it was frightening.
That's deep.
Yeah, that is deep.
That's kind of scary.
Thanks for noticing,
big man.
So if you happen to step on this step going out of the dugout toward home plate one time, the next time you'd have to find a different step or a different place on that step. Yeah, it was tough.
I just kept it simple. Hey, if I got 2 hits, I'm going to drive home this way, and I drove into the ballpark on this way, so I'm going to take the same way I went home, or take the same way in the ballpark, or wear the same type of socks or something like that.
Should I say you're a simple man?
Yep. Now, I have played with guys who were like crazy.
Gosh.
You know?
Joe Niekro was the king for me. Tremendous pitcher. Had that great knuckleball like his brother Phil. But Joe had rituals, and in the old Astrodome, we had 9 steps that led from the dugout. They were old wooden steps down to the runway that went to the clubhouse. Well, 9 steps corresponded with 9 innings of a ball game, and he wanted to complete his games, and he would start on step 1, and in between innings, he went through his little ritual as Yan Gomes swings through one for the strikeout, second out of the inning, and we'll have to break our story right here as we have time for an update with Jamie. And the Blue Jays will leave Toronto this afternoon and head to Milwaukee to take on those Brewers, and a ball club that has not played as well this year as they did last year, but still a good ball club, and Ryan Braun is swinging it well.
Yeah, no Prince Fielder, so that will be fun. So what about every inning? Did he put his glove on every inning that he completed? Is that what he did?
Rajay Davis hits one in the air to left field. He doesn't want to hear the completion of the story right now. We'll do that in the next half inning. A 1-2-3 inning for the Blue Jays. As we go to the 7th inning, Rajay Davis and company in front 5-2. The Blue Jays today, his first on the season, and Brett winds up going just 5 innings. But what did you see that maybe leaves a positive for you, Pat?
How about 1 walk and 5 strikeouts, averaging a strikeout per inning, 5-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Made a couple of mistakes, and he paid for it with the home run by Tomei and Mayberry. But after that, you know, he kept the ball in play. He didn't walk anybody, didn't give him any extra base runners by walking him and compounding his problem. So a chance to really do something here today. 5 innings, he is in line for the win, so bullpen has to hold it now. So I saw some improvement from the player that we saw last year.
And I think that's what everybody wants to see with Brett. On the afternoon, 87 pitches, 55 were strikes. Luis Perez has pitched an inning. He'll work into a second inning facing the 8-9-1 hitters. John Mayberry Jr. leads it off and takes high. So we were talking about a teammate of mine by the name of Joe Niekro and his idiosyncrasies as he would go on those steps, those 9 steps, and with each inning, each step corresponded to an inning that he could completed. And he had a ritual, and I won't get into the whole thing, but he would sit and drink his favorite soft drink along with and anyway, as he would finish each inning, as he'd go back out, he'd finish off by pouring some of his soft drink, which he had to keep in 2 cups, and he had 2 cans of that beverage going at all times with a full ice that the bat boy had to keep filled for him. And then he would, with alternate cans of soft drink as the pitches popped up. Into foul territory, Ian Gomes. There's the first out of the inning. Anyway, it would stay filled at all times with ice and with soft drink. And before he went out to the field, he would pour it on this wooden step, and you would see these wet spots corresponding with the number of innings that would go throughout the night. And it was just it was one of those things that just had to be done with every start at home, and then he would alter it on the road.
That's a positive frame of mind.
Yes,
right?
it is.
He's getting into a positive frame of mind as he's going out to pitch. The best for me was, you know how when you get a base hit, you always make a left-hand turn on a base hit. If you make it out, you make a right-hand turn towards foul territory. Play with a guy who could never make a right-hand turn. So whenever he's walking down the street, if he had to turn the corner, he would turn left first, because that symbolized that he got him a base hit as opposed to making it out. That's pretty tough. Lots of 360s.
I wonder if that went on during the offseason as well. Gee. That would dissuade me from wanting to walk around downtown.
I got very dizzy walking around downtown with him.
5-2 Blue Jays. 9-hitter Michael Martinez at the plate. He hits one in the air to left field. Rajay Davis is going to go back. He's at the track right in front of the wall. He'll make the catch. 2 outs here in the 7th. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Well, Perez has gotten 2 quick outs here in the 7th inning. We're done talking about superstitions, I think. Jimmy Rollins at the plate, 0 for 3 on his day with a strikeout. Perez back to the plate. That's a strike on the outside corner. The bullpen for the Blue Jays is quiet for the moment. And whether Perez would work potentially a 3rd inning here on the afternoon, yet to be seen.
Well, the way he is throwing and how quickly he's been getting in and out of his innings, you could see him maybe come out for that 3rd inning. Jason Frazier is now, right when we start to talk, getting up and moving around out there and picking up the baseball to get loose. But you've got Tomei, who's a left-handed hitter, possibly next inning.
Breaking ball got him swinging. Now Perez comes on. He's worked a couple of scoreless innings. That's his first strikeout as he gets Jimmy Rollins. Luis Perez and Brett Cecil getting it done here this afternoon. Rogers customers have more ways to catch Sportsnet live coverage of the Blue Jays. Watch the action live all season from your smartphone. Download the Rogers Live app from your app store. Here's a line shot down the left field side. That's off the wall. As Jeff Mathis digs for second. Here comes the throw, and Mathis in there with a dive. Leadoff double Mathis against Kyle Kendrick, who works into the 7th inning.
Boy, he has shown some power whenever he gets a chance to start. This ball is on a rope to left field. Jeff Mathis is a very good athlete, and he turns that corner at first base and hustles in with his 3rd double. They had a good start here in the 7th inning for the Blue Jays.
Talk about Mathis being a good athlete. He's a guy that has been used as a pinch runner, and he's good on the bases. He's at second for Laurie. Laurie turns to bunt and takes the off-speed pitch in the dirt. With as good as Jeff Mathis is defensively, he doesn't have to do a whole lot offensively to earn his keep. And yet, like you talk about, he's good with the power game. He runs the bases well. but he's such a fine defensive player.
Done a good job.
Laurie gets one foul on the ground on the right side. That's one thing that Laurie wouldn't mind doing here. Hit that ground ball to the right side and move his runner Mathis to third base with one out.
Good job, Mathis. They've opened him up a little bit more, and you watch him take batting practice, and he can turn on some pitches now, just like that double we just saw. Ball on the inner half, and he just rifled it to left field.
Watching him recently take batting practice, just trying to keep his head right on contact. Pitch is hit in the air to right field, dropping quickly, but coming on is Pence to make the play. So Hunter Pence in right field with a nice jump to haul in this shot by Brett Laurie. That's the first out. And the negative on the play for the Blue Jays is that Mathis is unable to move up. And now Colby Rasmus comes to the plate. He's having a big day.
Not waiting around last time. First pitch swinging was Rasmus. And he might not get a chance to face Kendrick again as he rifles his 10th home run into the seats in right field. A very dangerous bat at the plate for the Blue Jays.
Charlie Manuel, the skipper of the Phillies, coming out to the mound, and that's going to do it for Kyle Kendrick as the Phillies will turn to their bullpen. And the Blue Jays leading at 5-2, trying to add to it. Honda Super Camps presented by Baseball Canada and Little League Canada. There will be one out in Halifax, Nova Scotia. That's August 5th through the 7th at Mainland's Common Field. Instructors include, and get these names, Jose Cruz, Jason Dixon, Sandy Alomar Sr., Jesse Barfield, and Dwayne Ward. They really put it together right. Visit BlueJays.com/Baseball Academy. The Toronto Blue Jays are proud supporters of amateur baseball across Canada. And now the Phillies do turn to their bullpen. 25-year-old left-hander Jake Diekman comes on. 12 appearances prior to today's on the season.
Just a situational lefty for the Philadelphia Phillies, so he's probably in there for just one hitter, and that's Rasmus. He's got a sweeping slider that he'll use for strikeouts. Fastball about 90 to 95 miles an hour. He was a starter in the minor leagues for the Phillies. And in 2010, they moved him to the bullpen. He dropped his arm angle a little bit and making it a little bit tougher on lefties. You see how he really throws across his body.
That's pretty good fastball right there. There's Tony Rasmus. We were talking with him here in the booth, and he was talking about his superstitions as a dad. He needs to sit in the same place, but I think we've caught him out of place. Maybe this is where he sits with left-handers on the hill.
Yeah, he said he was the floor below us. That looks like he's back in the box.
Well, that's a tough-looking angle created by Jake Diekman.
He was a little bit more on top when he was in the minor leagues when he was a starter, and then dropped that arm angle in 2010 when they moved him to the bullpen, making it tough on lefties to pick it up. And they haven't done a very good job. Just .211 against him this year, left-handers.
Fastball runs inside. Rasmus may be resizing things. We've seen the fastball at 95. You get a left-hander that creates that tough angle, can bring it at 95, has some breaking stuff. For me, maybe a guy that is more than just that left-handed
specialist.
The guy that gets the specialist.
But you can get both of them out.
Good fastball at the knees.
Yeah, 95 miles an hour also. When you're not facing a pitcher very often, first time that you're facing them, you have to eliminate pitches, I think, early in the count. Sit on certain pitches. But when you get to 3-2 right now, all you're looking for is the ball.
Timeout called at the plate. Rasmus has doubled and homered, 3 RBIs on the afternoon. He scored a pair. And now Carlos Ruiz goes out to the mound. I would imagine for Colby, this is a tough at bat, trying to pick up that fastball and or the breaking ball from this slinging angle. But he lines one into right field. RBI single, and the Blue Jays pick up another. It's 6-2. Colby Rasmus's 3rd hit of the afternoon. Dad is pleased. It's Father's Day, and why shouldn't it be?
Lefties, righties, it doesn't matter. This afternoon with Colby Rasmus, gets himself to a 3-2 count. Beekman's challenging him with a fastball, and Colby rips it into right field. His dad was right. He is a pull hitter. And he pulls that right into right field. Pence comes up to throw. The ball bounces off his glove. Rasmus has a 4 RBI afternoon.
That'll bring up Bautista, who takes a strike. We've just heard from the scorekeeper as Rasmus takes off early and now digs for second, and he is out. At the last moment, that call made by Mike Everett, the second base umpire, he's the crew chief. Rasmus caught stealing. 1-3-6 on the putout. So Colby tried to pick one. The scorekeeper has not awarded an RBI to Colby Rasmus. He has determined that that's an error in right field, but I don't know how you can do that with a runner coming around third base. Coming to the plate was Jeff Mathis. He wasn't stopping.
Yeah.
So in order to rule it an error and no RBI, you would have to determine somehow.
Here's Mathis. Let's see it. Second. He's coming around.
Well, there was a hesitation. And with a hesitation, I guess comes that opportunity to determine that he wasn't going to come unless the ball had been bobbled. So it's an E9 awarding that run. Take away the RBI from Rasmus. Ball hit in the air to center field, but not deep enough. Victorino's there to make the play. Bautista flies out, and that'll do it for the Blue Jays in the 7th inning. But they get another run as they do it against this pen of the Phillies. Enjoy responsibly.
4th inning. Phillies have a runner at second base. That's Shane Victorino who could run. Hector Luna is at the plate. You can see Jose Bautista in right field. He's very shallow, and that will pay dividends as he comes in and then heads up alertly. Throws right back to double off Shane Victorino. That's how you lead the American League in outfield assists. That's his 8th. You do it with talent. You do it with smarts. Today's smart play.
To the 8th inning we go. Jose Bautista not pleased with what he's done offensively today, but that defensive play was a gem. And the Blue Jays lead it 6-2. And Luis Perez will stay on for a 3rd inning of work.
I thought he might because of Tomei in the middle of the lineup. He's only thrown 23 pitches to get through his 2 innings of work. Now, if he gets into trouble, John Farrell will have an option to go to his bullpen.
Placido Polanco, the veteran at the plate, asking about that first strike. Polanco has walked in 3 plate appearances. He has also struck out. Doesn't happen often with Placido Polanco. That came looking in the 1st inning.
Yeah,
there's another strike.
He's in the top 5 in the National League and hardest to strike out.
Year after year.
Yeah, not just this year.
He's been one of the mainstays for Charlie Manuel's guys. These Phillies have to be asking, when can they get Roy Halladay back, and when can they get Chase Utley and Ryan Howard back? And with Chase Utley and that knee problem that he's had now for the past couple of seasons, you wonder how effective, as he comes back as a veteran player, he might be. And of course, Ryan Howard with that Achilles tear that he had, that's a tough one to return from.
Yeah, we told you that he had a couple of home runs in an A-ball game the other day, but still not running. They have him jogging, so that tells me that's an exhibition game with their New York Penn League team. Just jogging, so he still hasn't been able to run the bases.
Roy Halladay is everything you ask in an ace on your staff, and they also have Cliff Lee, as we know, and Cole Hamels. Cole Hamels not appearing here in this series. The great pitching staff of a year ago has been hurt this year. So for a 2nd time on the afternoon, Placido Polanco down on strikes. That's the first out here in the 8th inning. And time for an update with Jamie. Well, those Washington Nationals looked awfully good here, but the Yankees are making life tough on them. The Yankees in 1st place in the American League East. A game and a half in front of Baltimore. How about the Orioles? Still to this point hanging in.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
You think they're for real?
I do. We've played too many games. They've shown that they can play as long as they stay healthy. You know, they are missing Lindstrom out of that bullpen, and Markakis is on the disabled list right now. But if they stay healthy, I think they're legit.
Strike at the knees. Perez gets in front. Their pitching has gone night and day better than a year ago. And their offense has been a pretty good one through the years. Here's a fly ball to left center field. And a long run for Rasmus. He'll get there with that speed. Kobe Rasmus just making up the ground. Hauls it in on the track in left center and having some fun with teammates. Dad expects that play.
Making it look easy, I think, in center field. He's got a long way to go, but it's hit to his glove side. And he actually breaks it down and slows down the last couple of steps as he gets to this ball off the bat of Hunter Pence.
Look at the length of those strides of Colby Rasmus. He's got a chance of meeting up with those walls here many a time through the years. 2 down, it brings up Jim Thome, who takes inside. Thome 1 for 3 that won a home run back in the second inning, a solo job, his 4th on the year.
Such a good feeling when a pitcher makes a mistake and the ball's hit hard and your outfielder just runs it down. Just goes out there and saves you with a great play. We've seen it time and time again this year from Colby.
He's turning into a whale of a player for the Blue Jays. Had his struggles last year, certainly had struggles early this year. Tillman takes a strike. But once he started to find it here, and it's been over the past month primarily, boy, has he found it in a big way.
In all facets of his game. Throwing. I was watching him throw the other day. He was standing at the third base line and throwing the ball into the second deck behind the bullpen in right field. That's how good his arm is. Really? Yes. He did it 3 times.
Comey hits one on the ground with that shift on. Kelly Johnson's right there. And a 1-2-3-8th inning for the Phillies. Well, Luis Perez has been awfully good. And now it's time for a Blue Jay Central update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Blackberry broadcast studio. Field. Sleep where the Blue Jays play. Saturday, July 14th, Blue Jays and Indians, 107 start. Your $100 event ticket includes a 100-level outfield ticket to the game. Visit BlueJays.com/campout for your information. And now for the Phillies, their third pitcher of the afternoon, their closer, Jonathan Papelbon, comes on to work the 8th.
And the Blue Jays very happy to see Papelbon in this situation. They've seen him plenty in the past when he was a member of the Boston Red Sox, saving games, but now they got to get him some time. They got to get him some work here. They haven't had a whole lot of opportunities for Jonathan Papelbon to save games, so Charlie Manuel's got to get him in here this afternoon. He's first in save percentage, perfectly 17 for 17, tied for first in games finished, and third in the National League in saves with those 17. A good fastball and still a great split that he'll use.
Papelbon has been good with the Phillies, but chances have been sparse here of late. Again, the Phillies losers in 11 of their last 14, and the Blue Jays lead this one 6-2 here in the 8th inning.
His last appearance was at Minnesota when he picked up that 17th save, and it took him 4 outs to do it. So you got to get him some work here this afternoon.
Mentioned that 3-11 mark for the Phillies recently. 2 of those wins, the last 2 games against the Twins, just prior to coming to Toronto.
Phillies have an off day tomorrow before they open a homestand against Colorado, so he has to be able to get some work in. There are the numbers that I was talking about. 27 for 28 in save opportunities in his career versus the Blue Jays with a 172 earned run average.
mentioned, the Phillies have an off day tomorrow. They've played 2 more games than have the Blue Jays at this point. Of course, the Blue Jays have an off day coming up Thursday as they head to Miami to take on the Marlins and see that new ballpark. It'll be nice to go play the Marlins and actually have some fans in the stands in the old ballpark.
Yes.
And it had various names through the years. I still will refer to it as Semi-Pro Player Stadium. They just did not put many in there.
They're putting them in there now.
And they're playing pretty well.
Hey, they've got an exciting young team.
Edwin has a rip. Marlins are just a game over 500 as we speak. But they're certainly in that race in the National League East, led by the Washington Nationals.
They have drawn just under 1 million already at home this year. 999,000 and change. Pretty impressive in 35 dates at home.
Good heat, but upstairs for the walk. The Stanley Cup has finally landed in LA. Read about the trials of the Kings and the 15 other teams as they pursue the dream of holding the Stanley Cup on newsstands right now. Kelly Johnson 1 for 3 on the day, stands in, picked up his 30th RBI on the year with a base hit in the first inning. Papelbon can take something off and leave hitters out in front. 2 runs, 6 hits, an error for the Phillies. 6 runs, 9 hits, an error for the Blue Jays. Johnson fouls one to the seats down that left field side. Isn't it amazing how emotions can go in this game? You play 162 games. Blue Jays have a long ways to go, no question about it. But the Washington Nationals came to town as the Blue Jays settled in for a 6-game homestand. And the Nats just laid the wood to the Blue Jays and swept the 3-game series. And you feel like, boy, it's not real good right now. And then suddenly you turn right around.
How about pouring salt in the wound by 3 starters going down this week?
Yeah. That's a pretty good looking pitch. Papelbon wanted it, and I don't blame him. Well, that's just, it's unprecedented for me.
I've never seen it in all my years in professional baseball. I've never seen 3 starters in 4 games go down and major injuries, not injuries where they might miss a start or 2, major injuries where they have to go on the disabled list.
Ground ball back to the mound, could be 2. Rollins takes it, and with that low throw, can't make a throw back to first base. So the poor throw by Papelbon sets up just the fielder's choice as Kelly Johnson reaches.
Ball hit hard by Johnson. Papelbon, a good athlete, snares it, and then the throw right here will take Rollins. It's almost a sinker towards second base. It takes Rollins off the bag so they can only get the 1 out.
It's a funny thing. You got pitchers who are paid to throw strikes, and they do it very well. But you ask them to make that play to second base, sometimes to first base, and it becomes one of the most difficult throws known to man.
Yep, because you're throwing to the bag, you're not throwing to a person. You're taught to throw to the bag and make sure that infielder gets there.
Johnson on the move as Escobar fouls it back. Yep. Chest high, right over the bag. Make it easy on the infielder.
Yep.
I think a lot of times infielders, pitchers try to become quarterbacks and look at the receiver on the move and try to hit him here and there, but just throw it right over the bag, chest high.
And if the fielder doesn't get there, it's his fault. Kelly Johnson a little bit slow to get up after that steal attempt. He's been battling some hamstring problems.
Not sure Kelly was even aware that the pitch was fouled back for a moment. Escobar 1 for 3 on the day. Let's see what Kelly looked like when he hit second base and running hard.
Head down.
I've stolen another base.
Or have I?
Would you mind heading back to the previous base? We're going to have to hold the game until you do so. A ball and a strike on you now. Johnson bluffs from first base, and Escobar takes a strike and doesn't like that one. And he's going to get a good hard stare from home plate umpire Lance Barrett.
Yeah, that's a strike. Right on the outside corner, about belt high.
Yeah, I'm not sure what Unell is barking about there. Kendrick got some pitches earlier in the afternoon that might have been off the outside edge. This one looked good from Papelbon. Colby Rasmus has been the offensive star this afternoon. First inning double to plate a run. He hit a 2-run home run in the 5th inning, and then singled with Jeff Mathis at second base in the 7th inning. Did not get an RBI as the ball was kicked in right field momentarily by Hunter Pence. But Colby Rasmus, boy, he's living up to everything the Blue Jays could possibly hope for right about now. Papelbon, very deliberate when he gets on the hill. Swing and a miss by Escobar, maybe getting a foul tip. And Escobar down on strikes. Second out here in the inning.
Papelbon still has that very good fastball, and he'll go upstairs against Unell to strike him out. Still got that great splitter, also split finger fastball that he learned from Kurt Schilling in 2005. Schilling showed him how to rip it, and he's been great ever since.
Yan Gomes trying to show him how to rip it. Gomes has grounded out and been hit by a pitch, then struck out. So reaching just once on the afternoon. That came in the 4th inning. Good fastball pumped right on by. The Blue Jays are now, and of course this is not a pinch hit at bat, but Yan Gomes has had 2 recent pinch hit opportunities in which he's gotten hits, and they've been clutch for the club. Blue Jays are now 5 for 32 with their pinch hitters. They were 1 for 26 until Yan Gomes picked up a key pinch hit in Atlanta to help the Blue Jays come from behind and win Game 3 in that series.
Yeah, just last week, last Sunday, when the team was down in Atlanta, I looked at those stats, and they had 1 pinch hit on the season.
Isn't that something? And that's got to make it tough on the skip. Oh, and 2 the count. Papelbon has been one of the game's outstanding closers. And of course, he pitched with the Red Sox. They like the good slow baseball, but boy, can he slow it down.
Thinks his way through. Takes his time. Left-handers last year, not a lot of success against him. He's a 4-time All-Star.
There goes Johnson. Swing and a miss by Gomes as he's down on strikes. That'll do it, as going through with the throw was Ruiz, not needed, and Kelly Johnson looks like a guy who is ailing just a bit. Papelbon strikes out a pair in the 8th. Blue Jays lead it as we go to the 9th.
And to all dads out there, Dad, I definitely wouldn't be standing here today if it wasn't for you. Thank you for all you do, and have a special day for you, and go Blue Jays.
Yep, you heard Casey. There's Jack Jansen. That's Dad. And he's got to be enjoying the day, although I'm sure he would like to see Casey be able to come in and get a save opportunity. That's not the case here as the Blue Jays lead it by 4 going to the 9th inning. And Jason Frazier comes on, non-save opportunity for Jason.
And he's been good this season. 28 games. He's pitched in 23 2/3 innings. He's had 30 strikeouts. That's why you've got that 11.4 strikeout per 9 inning.
And he gets that first pitch through there for a called strike. Shane Victorino, switch hitter, batting left-handed now. He'll be followed by Carlos Ruiz and the Hector Luna spot. Ground ball back to the mound, and a nice play by Frazier. He'll flip easily to first base. And out number 1.
Jason pitched a couple of games ago against the Phillies, and he was credited with his 8th hold of the season. Here it shows some athletics right there as he snatches that ball and fix it. He leads the team with in holds with 8, and his father Frank Frazier certainly likes that.
Carlos Ruiz has had himself quite a season to this point. On the afternoon, though, 0 for 3. He's hit 2 balls on a line. One took a great play at shortstop by Escobar to get him. The other, a line shot to center that Colby Rasmus hauled in.
Isn't it funny how the game is, Alan? How after that Washington series, like you were talking about, everybody was saying, okay, I'm giving up on the Blue Jays.
It's all over.
It's over. Season's over. Let's start thinking about 2013. It's a resilient bunch of guys. They get out there and they play the game. They play hard.
Well, it certainly shows you, Pat, that the Blue Jays didn't take that attitude themselves. Now, some may say the Phillies are not a very good ball club right now, and they're struggling, no doubt about it. But you have to beat the clubs that you have to beat, as well as the teams that you hope to beat as well.
Yeah, I don't care in the major leagues who you're playing. It's tough to win a game.
Yes, it is.
You know, a first-place team or a last-place team, it's tough to win. But John Farrell's team, they come ready to play every day. They're prepared. The coaches work so hard at getting their team ready. I mean, it's a thing at the middle of this week. Everybody was saying, that's it. It's over with.
Frazier finds the outside edge. Caught looking is Ruiz. And Jason Frazier now has the Blue Jays within an out of winning 3 straight over the Phillies. More baseball coming up. Top of the clock, it'll be the White Sox at the Dodgers. Coming up next right here on Sportsnet. So 2 down. Hector Luna stands in. Frazier throwing hard. He's 93-94 as he comes in out of the pen.
Yeah, again, just worked 2 days ago against these Phillies and picked up a hole with strikeouts in that game. And he's really painting that outside corner with that fastball.
And the Blue Jays, following today's game, head to Milwaukee to take on the Brewers. A lot of tough baseball. The Blue Jays have been in and continue in a tough schedule. Pitch hit on the ground. It backs Laurie. Now a long throw. And not in time. Luna able to leg it out. That's going down the line hard because Brett Laurie did everything you could do on this play.
And Hector Luna is not known as a guy who can run, but he beats it out. What a play by Laurie at third base. He's playing deep. He gives ground. He sets his feet in. He uncorks a seed across the infield. has to give ground, sets his feet, and this is on a fly across the infield. Gomes does everything he can at first base to stretch and make the play. And Brett thinks he has him. Can't believe it.
That's as good as you can do at third base. And I'll tell you what Hector Luna did with this infield single is he showed Charlie Manuel how hard he can run.
Great point. Team is struggling right now. Tough to win some ball games. You're down 2 outs. Yeah, it's easy just to shut it down. He busted it down that first base line.
Of course, guys want to get their hits, and you're looking for guys to run that hard at all times, but that set the bar, I would think, for Hector Luna. Two down, Mayberry at the plate, takes inside. It's all in the hands of Jason Frazier. Nobody throwing in the Blue Jays pen and left. Mayberry with a couple of hits on the afternoon, including a home run, his 5th. That came back in the 3rd inning and tied the game at 2. Ball hit sharply up the middle. A 3rd hit now for John Mayberry Jr. And now runners at 1st and 2nd with 2 outs for the 9 spot. And the Phillies will go to their bench with left-hand hitting Mike Fontenot.
Not going to go quietly after Luna beats out that infield single, and that's going to get everybody moving around for the Blue Jays. Bruce Walton's going to come out to buy a little time as Casey Janssen peels off his warm-up, and he starts to throw down in that bullpen, getting loose. There he goes, and that's another secret as a closer. How quickly can you get loose?
Yes.
In these types of games where you think, well, there's 2 outs, no chance that I'm going to get into the game. Now you got to crank it up, and crank it up quickly.
And of course, Casey Janssen has had shoulder surgery in his career, but appears to be 100%. We'll be right back tomorrow from Milwaukee. Blue Jays and Brewers go at it. 7:30 start. 4:30. That's Pacific time. And Henderson Alvarez goes to the mound for the Blue Jays to start that 3-game set. And it's a 9-game, 10-day road trip the Blue Jays will find themselves on. No balls and a strike. Mike Fontenot, left-hand hitter. Luna leads from second. Mayberry from first base. Frazier trying to get it done in front of 45,060 on hand here this afternoon. Another great crowd. Over 42,000 yesterday. And they have been in support of their Blue Jays, trying to rally this ball club. Fastball hit on the ground. This should do it. Escobar will take it, go to the bag, bluff to first base. We're not going to get 4 outs in this 9th inning. Just 3 will do. As the Blue Jays close it out, winning 3 straight over the Phillies to sweep them out of town. And the Blue Jays now turn this, what looked like disastrous homestand, into a 500 stand.
So you've got to take that. Now they go 2 games over 500. Everybody was worried about them after that Washington. The pitching settles in. They get some big hits from Rajay Davis, from Brett Laurie, Escobar over the last couple of days. Colby Rasmus, what an afternoon he put together. Bullpen's coming together. So now they hit the road in a little bit more of a positive feeling now.
Well, you mentioned the big days. No question, Colby Rasmus and Brett Cecil at the heart of things today as we turn it now to Jamie and Greg.